Hi, I'm Thomas Burford. I was a runner for Frank Werber between probably 67 and 1970, or 68 and 70. I spent a lot of time here at the Trident restaurants and some of the others. My name, as I said, is Thomas Burford. I had a nickname back then. My friends call me U, which was short for Ulysses. Don't even ask. It's a whole different story. But I was here to break urban legend. I was here the day that the Hells Angels and the San Francisco 49ers had a confrontation. It was a special day for me. I was on a first date with a young lady that I was trying to impress. I really didn't expect it to turn into a melee. I was sitting up here very close to where I'm sitting right now on the third level. On the second level, there was a guy on a date with his girlfriend, and on the first level is where the Hells Angels, which was down by the front windows overlooking the bay, is where the Hells Angels came in. There were two of them that came in, they sat down, they ordered coffee, and unfortunately I guess the waitress didn't move fast enough, so they started using some expletives, and it made her more nervous, and she was trying to get the coffee ready, and I don't really remember exactly what happened, but it started getting louder, and then they started yelling at her, and then one of them picked up an ashtray and threw it at her, and what had happened is it hit the wooden railing over here, and part of it broke, and part of the glass flew off and hit the back of the hand of a girl that was sitting at the table over here with the guy on the date, and he yelled down to him to get up there and apologize to his girlfriend, and they used some very unfriendly words toward him and references to his girlfriend that he didn't like, and he says, "I'm not asking you now, I'm telling you to get up here and apologize to her." And they thought, oh, he's a tough guy, well I guess we'll show him, and I'm assuming this of course. I'm sitting up here, I'm telling my girlfriend not to move because I'm not sure which direction this is going to go. They came up from the window to the second landing, and I'm telling you right now, when that guy got up out of his chair, the guy that was on his date, he got up and he kept getting up. That guy was like 6'8". I wish I could remember what his name was, but that guy was a man mountain. I had no idea when he was sitting he was that big. But he stood up, and one Hells Angel jumped on him, and then the other one, and they were beating him. They had him to the ground, they were beating him, and all of a sudden they were airborne, both of them. I'm serious, just like you see in the movies and stuff. One of the guys actually went through the air. And then I realized this man Mountain was just not only a big guy, but he was incredibly powerful. He sorted him out. It really didn't take long. Most really big fights don't go on like they do in the movies. This went on for a couple minutes, and it was fast, it was noisy, and there were some people that were hurt, and it wasn't him. These guys got off the ground, they went out, and I imagine they left the bar to go get some help from their buddies out on the street, and by this time Lou, the manager here, had run up to find out what was going on. He was probably outside or something, and they had gone to get help, and Sonny Barger was in town that day. He was the president of the Hells Angels. He comes back and has a conversation with Lou, and all of a sudden he's like kicking out $100 bills, paying for damages, buying everybody's lunch, apologizing to everybody, and those guys eventually did apologize to the guy on his date at the table. And Sonny never talked to anybody that was in the restaurant, but you could tell that he didn't want to have that reputation in town. The whole chapter was in town that day. They came in, it was like rolling thunder. He didn't want to lose, to be banned from this town, because it was such a, this town was incredible during then with all the celebrity, and he didn't want to be banned from this area because of something a couple of his guys did. When he found out it was their fault, he was humble, I guess, in his way. But I will always remember the day that the San Francisco 49er linebacker airborne that one guy. I swear I looked, I didn't know how he got up there. Well, I remember one of the guys jumped up and was gonna jump him, and I guess he saw it from his peripheral vision, and he laid there, he decked him in the air. I mean, the guy just stopped. It was like one of those cartoons where you see this goes out, the legs are doing this in the background. It was crazy. It was a crazy moment. I never had a second date with that girl, by the way. I just thought I'd throw that in there. But that was a moment. That was a moment. So anyway, that's there's been some stories about how that's gone over the past, but that's actually what happened, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.